What's up guys, David Turek here. Today I'm starting a new kind of series on this channel here. Today we're going to be doing an album reaction. Now this isn't a first reaction because I already have heard this probably like, I don't even know how many times at this point, but I'm starting a new series where I'm going to be listening and re-listening and going more in depth on albums that I've already listened to. So we're starting this kind of series off with Frank Ocean's Blonde. Of course, I'm probably going to be doing In Rainbows and probably a Moon-Shaped Pool as well, maybe To Pimp a Butterfly. So once again, this is not a first reaction, but it will be. I will listen through in this video and I will kind of take a deeper dive than I usually would on a first reaction into the writing on it, pretty much everything about it. So yeah, let's just hop right into this. We got, of course, the blonde hoodie. We got the poster in the back, of course. And yeah, let's hop on over to the OBS cam. Hello. As you can see, we got the track here. We got the Genius page to the right. And yeah, let's hop right into this. First track is Nikes, of course. I don't think there's much else to say. We're gonna hop into this and let's go. Love that snare drum. Hold up, I never understood that you must be on that white like Othello. I don't know if it's showing on the screen. I don't think it is, but Genius says Othello is a play by Shakespeare, which I didn't actually know. About a general of Venice who gains prominence in a white society for his military genius. He falls in love with the white Desdemona, the daughter of a Venetian senator. Okay, I never actually got what that bar was, so that's on that white reference to cocaine, of course. Okay, see, we're already learning something new. We're already learning, boys. Like, I never knew these were what the lyrics were at this part. We'll let you guys prophesy. Oh, so good. I think the production on this album gets seriously overlooked. The production is so good, bro. You have that little, like, harp in the background on top of this, like, super pristine guitar. Everything's just buried in freaking reverb, but it still sounds so good. Like the space when that opens up and he goes into his regular voice, the space it creates and how much it fills out the sound is actually insane. It's so good. This part here is so good. When you're not here, I'll save some for you, up into you. The harmonies, this part is just, this is perfection right here. Drums come back in. So good. Okay, probably, I know it's a pretty, I mean, there's really nothing that I can complain about in the song, but I would say that it's probably one of the weakest songs on the album, especially lyrically, because lyrically it doesn't seem like there's that much cohesion to it. Like, it's just a bunch of kind of just random references is what it seems like. Obviously you have the main line, they want Nikes, looking for tell them it ain't likely. It's about like kind of that materialism in today's society, but like, I don't know, just the writing definitely improves throughout the album. So yeah, verse 3, it says who's Kohh? I've never looked at the Genius lyrics on this, and the verse 3, what is that about? Okay, let's read the about a little bit. Nikes is critiquing of the trappings, yeah. Materialistic hedonism, video version. The video is kind of insane, honestly. Released the day after, yep. Oh, Chance teased this on Twitter too, like a year early. Didn't know that. Okay, so here we go. 2 other different versions of the song released. The Apple Music version without the third verse, featuring Japanese rapper Kohh. Where can I hear that version? Is there anywhere online where I can hear that? Video version. Obviously, the video version has that kind of deep voice under it, so it's a little bit different. But there's not much else about this, honestly. It's a pretty solid track, though. It's a pretty solid track. I want to hear that last verse. I'm going to search up if you can find that anywhere. Nikes with KOHH. Okay, I'm not going to listen to that right now, but you apparently can find it online with that verse by KOHH, or however you say it. So yeah, pretty solid song. Obviously, like I said, not the strongest out of the whole album lyrically, but I think also I was gonna bring up the high pitched kind of Alvin and Chipmunks voice. I know lots of people don't like it, but I feel like, I don't know, there's something about Frank's voice that just really fits with that kind of effect, and I like it. I don't know what it is about it, but it's enjoyable to me. Yeah, definitely a solid track. All right, we're going into Ivy, which is amazing. Let's just go.
Thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. The start of nothing new. I could hate you now. If I could sit
Sound just opens up again.
All the things I didn't mean to say, I didn't mean to do.
It's so good. It's so freaking good. It's so freaking good, bro. This is where this album just like Nikes, it's like, okay, it's decent, but this is literally so amazing right here. I mean, the whole point of the song is pretty obvious, pretty self-explanatory, but just some of these lines, the writing in this thing is so good. I didn't mean to do that. Like, even just the opening line, it paints such a freaking vivid picture. It's so amazing. And then this imagery here, if I could see through walls, you could see your fake, and if you could see my thoughts, you'd see your face is safe in my rental, like an armored truck back then. Like, what are we doing, bro? The production on this one is pretty, like, stripped back and pretty simple when you really listen to it. It's like, for the most part, it's really only two guitars. There is a third guitar that comes in at one point. You have the bass line, you have the kind of rhythm strumming guitar, and then you have another one that comes on top of that. But yeah, the production is pretty simple, but it does such a good job at making this kind of like psychedelic, but also kind of melancholy and nostalgic instrumental. Obviously, the guitars they do have some effects on them, some reverb, some whatever other effects. But it's pretty simple, but it still just does such a good job at making that mood and creating that feeling. And then these lyrics on top of it. And Frank's voice, too, I feel like his voice is kind of different in this one, too, because it kind of is like it almost has like a boyish, innocent kind of sound to it. And that just adds, once again, to that kind of nostalgic kind of feeling that this track creates. And the ending is like mind-blowing. Like, I've listened to this song so many times, and I legit got chills at that ending once again, where his voice gets completely just super distorted. It feels like, I don't even know, it's such a good ending. And then the moving of like equipment in the studio, so good. I don't think there's much else to say. On Ivy, Frank reflects on his mistakes and explores a failed relationship with Frank's vocals laid over melancholic production. See, I was right, melancholy. Heartbreaker song that could be seen as sequel to his April 2012 track, Thinking About You. I've never actually thought about that, but now that I read that kind of makes sense. Part of the song show Frank drowning in tears, filled with anger. Frank admitted to altering his voice in order to make it sound younger, to better encapsulate the emotions of young love. So, yeah, there was some vocal effects, but it's like not too over the top. Like, honestly, I didn't even know there was vocal effects. I kind of thought it was just Frank like purposefully singing in a different voice. But it does such a good job at painting that picture. Anything else on this one? Doesn't look like it. I think that's everything for Ivy. We're going to be going on to the next track here, which is another just quality pop, R&B, whatever you want to call it, song, produced by Pharrell as well. The production on this one is pristine. It's spotless. You have some backing vocals from Beyonce, of course, so let's just listen to it. Let's go. Pink and White. Like, this is just perfection.
You showed me love, glory from above, regard, dear. Real life, remember how it was. My bike's running up, not for me. It's just life, immortality.
And then just the birds chirping. It's so freaking good. All right, I gotta admit, Pink and White is probably one of my least played songs on this album, just because I feel like, I don't know, there's some reason that I don't come back to it as much. Maybe it is because it just feels a lot more pop. I don't know, more radio friendly almost, but that does not take away from it all. It's an amazing track. The production by Pharrell, like I said, is absolutely just perfection. So, like, I don't even know what to say. The string passages, the piano, the bass line, that bass line is so catchy. Beyonce on the backing vocals, and Frank, just, honestly, I haven't looked into the lyrics that much on this song. I thought he was another kind of, I mean, it might be like a love song, but it's really not. It's more about kind of just an old friend, I guess. And I kind of got that vibe, but I never actually, like, fully dug into it. But yeah, I always got that vibe. Older kids trying off the roofs, just this kind of picture that he paints here, especially. It's kind of the vibe I got. So it is about an old friend that actually passed away. So once again, I mean, it does feel a little bit more upbeat and happy compared to a lot of stuff on this album. But I mean, the stuff he's talking about still is not. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe he's looking at it in a more positive light, and he's just like, yeah. So, I don't know. It's a solid track. It's very solid. Songwriting's great. Produced by Ferrari. Someone close to him passed away, like I said. He remembers this person by recalling the lessons they taught him, of course. Theme of mortality plays a key role in this. He sings about a hurricane destroying everything in his path. Okay, I didn't make that connection. Hurricane is likely a reference to Katrina, obviously, because he grew up in New Orleans, right? He was actually a student at the University of New Orleans, which, yes, made him relocate to Houston. I think I already knew that. And yeah, maybe this person he's talking about died in Hurricane Katrina. As sung in the song's opening track title is a reference to a sunset drive with Frank and his old friend Pink and White. Describes the sky during the moment he's reminiscing on. Frank has used those colors before, of course, in White and Pink Matter. So cool little connection there. Frank uses simple syllables, keeps it back and forth at assonance. What is it? I guess that's how you say it. Of wordplay, working, keeping his lines short and understood with a lot of meaning behind each word used. While using as few words as possible. Yeah. Yeah, solid track. I never made that connection to the hurricane stuff. I don't know why. I guess I wasn't listening deeply enough. But it makes sense. Obviously, him growing up in New Orleans. I don't know if he grew up there or if he was just a student. But yeah. All right, we're going on to Be Yourself. I mean, it's just a skit, but we'll still listen to it because it's pretty important to the album.
And alcohol.
Oh.
Listen, stop
I thought this was
trying
Frank's
to be
mom.
somebody
It's not.
else. They become sluggish, lazy, stupid, and unconcerned. It does to you.
You can make a case
Okay?
against that, but...
This is Mom. Mom, call me. Bye.
All right, before we go into solo. So obviously just a skit. I always thought this was Frank's mom, like a voice message of his mom, but Genius says it's a voice message from one of his friends, Rosie Watson. And yeah, basically just giving some life advice, which really fits on this album. I know at first glance it might seem a little weird because, I don't know, but once you finish the album, you realize this album is pretty much just like a journal entry, honestly. It's like a super personal album just about life in general, and this kind of strengthens that theme once again. anything else we need to talk about here? I mean, not really, but we did learn that it's not Frank's mom, which is an interesting touch. But yeah, definitely serves a purpose on the album, and I actually really do like that do 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 little melody behind it. I think that plays in Futura Free as well. Really, once again, nostalgic sounding kind of instrumental that really fits the vibe really well. All right, we're going on to solo, which, I mean, what do you expect me to say? It's amazing. Let's go.
Dancing by myself, gone off tabs, and hit a solo one time. I had no trees to blow through.
That little whistle is so good. All right, great track, of course. Probably, I'd say Frank's best vocal performance on the whole album. I mean, this chorus here where he just goes into that high register is just perfection. Like there's nothing that gets better than that. It doesn't get better than that. I've never actually really looked into the lyrics that deeply on this one, so this is gonna be a little bit interesting here. Obviously, I've caught the kind of double entendre of the solo before, because Might Lose My Jacket hit a solo, but he's also talking about being solo, being alone. And it says, Genius says, he touches on various aspects of being alone, such as self-love or waiting for a call from your lover. But the interesting part is that I've never actually looked into the chorus and how that relates to it, because I've always just been, I'm just like, bro, this sonically, this is already like super satisfying. I don't feel like I need to look into the lyrics, but Genius, I know you guys can't see it, but Genius says, or an annotation says, Frank is commenting on the current tumultuous and chaotic state of the world. When he smokes, he reaches heaven, a happier place that is free of everyday problems. And then obviously the inhale, there's heaven, which is kind of ironic because it's ironic considering the weed's feelings of heaven. And obviously you would think weed, heaven, those things shouldn't coexist. But that's kind of the whole point of this song is Frank just pointing out the duality in life, I guess. So understanding that now, I feel like I appreciate this song even more now, because I never really looked that deeply into this. Obviously the duality also because, I mean, I feel like that's just a big part of Frank's life, because obviously he is bisexual as well. And yeah, just a great song overall. Playing on that double meaning of solo, might catch a solo, but also, it also could be he's so low. Like, he's so low. You know, he's feeling low. He's not doing so great. So there could be even three meanings. Who knows? Did Frank write it that way, meaning for that to happen? Maybe not. Maybe he did. Doesn't really matter. Great song. Vocal performance is great. Love the church organ, the church vibes. The church vibes are great. And yeah, not much else to say. Great track. Skyline 2 is coming up next, which I feel like is one of the most underrated songs on this album. It's one of the least played, I feel like. Maybe not. Looks like Facebook stories, like the least played. But Skyline 2, I feel like, is pretty underrated. So let's go on to that. Skyline 2. Ba-bam. Let's go.
This is joy, this is summer.
It's kind of like an interlude, I guess. Oh, I get it now. So, obviously this track, in terms of the writing, we haven't really gone through it yet, but it does feel very, like, disjointed, and, like, just a bunch of different random thoughts. But even with the production as well, it feels very, like, druggy, and very, not psychedelic, but it feels, what's a better word for that? Like, hallucinatory? Is that a word? I don't know. If that's a word, that's what it feels like. But it's also because in the last track, this whole album, there's been mention of weed, smoking weed. In the last track, he was talking about that, how that's his heaven. So the placement of this makes so much more sense now. It makes so much more sense. And it's also just a beautiful interlude. Like, musically, it's amazing.
That's a pretty long third gear in this car.
This just feels like a vibe setter. That feels like That's its purpose.
Summer's not as long as it used to be.
This part right here. This is like the greatest sounding thing ever. So ethereal. Why? Why is it so good? Those harmonies are literally, they're crack. All right, there it was. Skyline 2. Beautiful interlude. Like, if that's an interlude on your album, you know your album's freaking amazing. Like, what is happening? I've heard this album like probably, I don't even know how many times at this point, but it still just blows my mind every time. Once again, the lyrics seem to be disjointed, but I feel like that's kind of the point. It just feels honestly kind of like a vibe setter, you know, just like a mood setter. I never understood the Congo line. The Congo dimming and slowly beginning. The Congo dimming and slowly beginning to die away may represent Frank as he has begun to detach himself from his need for a partner. Okay. I mean, I feel like I could have made that on my own, but I just never really thought that deeply about it. Found satisfaction in his independence. There we go. And that fits so well, again, obviously coming after Solo, a track where he feels solo, he feels alone, and then this kind of accepting that and being okay with that is just the perfect placement. Great interlude track. That little section with that little like ethereal little whistle thing, it's unmatched, bro. That is like the greatest, that section of that song is like the greatest thing ever, bro. It's actually insane. It sounds so good. Like sonically and aesthetically, this album is just, it's literally ear candy, bro. It's literally ear candy. We're going to go on to Self-Control, though. Obviously, the classic, the absolute just masterpiece that this song is. Let's go.
Poolside convo about your summer last night. Ooh.
I'll be the boyfriend in your wet dreams tonight.
Please for me, pain is nothing. Keep a place.
Keep a place for me. But we gotta leave. But you gotta leave. Someone coming. Spitting game. You got it.
All right, there it was. Self-Control. Obviously a very hard-hitting track, a hard-hitting ballad, I guess you could say. Genius, obviously, a slow ballad which features Frank describing a relationship that is slowly falling apart. Yeah, I mean, you don't even really have to look in or read into the lyrics that much. It's pretty obvious what the song's about, and it hits so hard. And Young Lean, can we mention Young Lean? No disrespect to Young Lean, but this little chorus right here is the best thing he's ever done. This sounds so good. This part with him and whoever... Oh, no. I done goofed. This part with him and Austin Feinstein, whoever that is. Ooh. It's so good. It's so freaking good, bro. I don't think this is in the song, is it? This bridge? Sometimes I miss it. Someone like it. Some days you dance with tears. Where is that? Okay, so apparently it's just an alternate version from a live performance, maybe. But yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. We could read about it a little bit. Intro features a high-pitched vocal used. Squeaky voice suggests Frank is reminiscing about events that happened in his youth. We've already kind of talked about that, how that voice kind of portrays this childlike and innocent character, which is obviously a younger version of himself. Throughout the song, Frank hints the reason their relationship fell apart was because the other person was too immature, which, I mean, it's hard-hitting, but that's just even more hard-hitting because I feel like I can kind of relate to that in my own life. Austin Feinstein of the indie band Slow Hollows. Okay, never knew who that guy was. Young Lean, obviously, and then Young Lean joins him. It's just musically, it's amazing, and lyrically, it's just as amazing. There's not much else to say about it. We all know how good Self Control is, and it's literally perfect. So let's go on to Good Guy.
It's a good guy, he hooked it up. And to you, who is just a late night out.
There's that kind of nostalgic instrumental again.
But now I don't care about bitches like that, my nigga.
Before we go on to Nights, which is also just an absolute classic. Good Guy serves as an interlude, obviously touches on the idea of loneliness and emptiness experienced from fruitless encounters. And obviously the vocal delivery is a little bit strange. I was kind of thrown off by it when I first listened to this album. But the more you listen to it, the more you come to enjoy it, I found. The little piano backing this kind of weird voice is actually pretty likable. And the way the vocals are recorded kind of gives it this DIY feel. Which, I don't know, it kind of adds to that vibe. And let's just read a little bit about A Good Guy Serves. Obviously, we read that. Track outlines a quick story of Frank going out on a blind date with a guy who he met through a mutual friend. On the date, Frank discovers his partner's libertine character and realizes the intimacy shared between them is meaningless. Okay. Frank was likely hoping, yeah. Outro of the song, how difficult and trying to come out to people and to fit in straight. Yeah. And obviously, like I said, it's very raw, very feels very real, and it's not perfect for a reason, and it allows you kind of to hear that emotion in Frank's voice. And also, the people watching this, if you guys haven't heard this song live, there's a video on YouTube where he does kind of a different and more expanded version. It's amazing. You got to check it out. It's much better than the album version. So if you haven't seen that, just search up Good Guy Frank Ocean live, and it's amazing. So yeah, pretty solid interlude. I don't go back to it much because it is just an interlude, but it does serve a very important purpose within the context of the album. All right, we're going on to Nights, the 5-minute beast. Let's go.
Round your city, round the clock. Body needs you.
That's such a just powerful but simple line. Everybody needs you.
This feel like wanna see Nirvana, don't wanna die. Wanna feel it now.
Great line.
Come by.
I never fully appreciated these synths. I just gotta enjoy this. Ah.
1998, my family had the Acura. The legend. I don't want your conversation. Rolling marijuana, that's a cheap vacation.
All right, there we go. We all know how amazing this song is. Nights. Obviously, lyrically, just recalling certain memories, the ups and downs that he's had with this person. Love that. I've always loved that Nirvana line. Want to see Nirvana, but don't want to die. So good. And there was a couple other lines in there that were super simple, but also just very impactful. Where was it? Everybody needs you. Everybody needs you. I don't know why. I just like that line and that kind of hopefulness and that just that line in general. I don't have anything else to say. Let's read a little bit about it. Obviously, we had once again that Hurricane Katrina line talking about Hurricane Katrina, how he had to relocate, and obviously the beat switch. I mean, the beat switch is just, it's insane. And I was actually listening to that kind of that drum that's played during that kind of breakdown, and I never actually listened to it super heavily or just mainly focused on that. But the drum is actually kind of played out of time, and it kind of is it's not perfectly in time with everything else that's going on, and the guitar lines too, the kind of breakdown that's happening, I feel like that out of time kind of drum kind of adds to the chaos that part creates. And then where it actually switches, and then that little I can't even recreate it. It's just it's so satisfying. And I wish I could hear it, bro. I wish I could hear this song again for the first time, and especially that part. Obviously the switch up, kind of the second half being the darker section of the song, and it actually switches up. I think I read somewhere that the switch in this song is exactly, like pretty much exactly the middle point of the album. So obviously the rest of the album kind of turning into this darker kind of vibe, and that switch up in Nights kind of signifies the start of that. And obviously, I mean, again, you see duality here. It's been a theme throughout this entire album, and you kind of see it again, and you see it with the cover as well. Blonde, the title, I believe, is spelt with an E, right? And then on the cover, and on this right here, it's spelled without an E. Kind of once again linking back to the duality. That's been a theme throughout this entire album. Do I have anything else to say about this? No. I mean, the production's great. The guitars are great. I mean, I just had to kind of sing along to that second part or rap along, I guess, because, I don't know. I just love it. So, yeah, I think that's it for Nights. It's kind of, I was going to say that the production feels like something that you would see on Channel Orange. In terms of just the aesthetic of it musically, it sounds like something that would be on Channel Orange. It kind of feels like a Nights, or not a Nights, but a Pyramids Part 2 maybe. Not really, but just sonically, that's what it kind of seems like, and you have the switch up as well, obviously. So yeah, great song. Let's go into Solo Reprise featuring Andre 3000 of Outkast.
Solo that I can see under the skirt of an ant. Solo that I don't get high no more when I try no more. I just go hand. Hate that it's like this. I feel for you and I don't know what it's like with a skirt on. So pardon me if I am being insensitive, but darling, this only works us. And I'm so naive. I was under the impression that everyone wrote
that little
is coming back different, and yeah, that shit hurts me. I'm working just way too hard.
Oh, it's so good. That's just 1 minute and 18 seconds. That is absolutely perfect. Waste no time. It's just so amazing. Andre absolutely kills it. I mean, I gotta take these off for a second because my ears are kind of hurting. Obviously, Andre playing taking a different spin on Solo. Obviously, we had the track Solo earlier, where it was Solo feeling alone, but we have Andre here with So Low, like I mentioned earlier. And just some of the bars on here are so good. So good. Like, I don't even understand all of them, but, like, oh, they're so good. Anything to read about this? Obviously, yeah, they have collabed before, Frank and Andre, on Pink Matter, on Channel Orange. Okay, wait, what's this here? Frank has stated in the past that the album is entirely autobiographical. Why can't I speak, bro? Solo Frank is physically alone by not being in a relationship. Yep, in Reprise. Why do I say Reprise? Am I an idiot? Yes. He reflects on the music industry and modern society, feeling alone in his beliefs. Okay. He uses the perspective of Andre, a well-established artist, as Frank and Andre both may have felt alone this way after achieving success in the music industry. So, I mean, just genius, bro. It's just genius. Like, this dude really got Andre 3000 on this album to make it that much better. I don't have much else to say. It's a great track. It's a great minute-long track. All right, let's go into Pretty Sweet, which is a track I haven't listened to in a while. So I'm kind of hyped to get into this.
To the edge I race, to the end I make it.
So dark.
That might be what you need.
Oh, I just got chills. Oh. Oh, the bass line. I feel like I've been sleeping heavily on this song, bro. I said Skyline 2 might be the most underrated. This might actually be the most underrated. This thing it's fantastic. The beginning there with the just wall of strings and the wall of sound, absolutely twisted, absolutely just super dark. Like, that's not a sound you would expect Frank to be good at doing, and you wouldn't expect that to be successful, but it works. it works. And then the part where those drums come in, it really reminds me of, I think it's Mitsubishi Sony on Endless. I think it's a similar drum beat. It actually might be the exact same one. But the energy on that, and then the children kind of choir at the end there, really good like juxtaposition, because you had that dark section at the start, and then you have the innocence of the children's choir at the end. I gotta look into the lyrics, because I wasn't paying much attention once again to them. Pretty Sweet marks one of the bolder moments. Yep. Initially unsettling change of pace where Frank is singing wildly over chaotic mixture of strings and synthesizers. Like I said, just a wall of sound. Sonic experimentation sets the tone for lyrics, which seem to purposely lack structure. Why can't I read today? Purposely lack structure, further accentuating the chaotic and asymmetric flow of the song. Let's see. What are these lyrics? What a time is on this side? I mean, yeah. It feels very abstract and very, very personal, so it doesn't seem like we would be able to to decipher it. Other headbang, yeah. I mean, this is the blood, the body, the life right now. Like, just like I said, the dark tone that this track creates is insane, and the fact that an artist like Frank Ocean can do that is crazy. I think honestly, the beginning part of this track is one of the most. It's definitely one of the most experimental songs, but it's one of the most just like mind-blowing parts of the album too, is that beginning, because it's something you just totally do not expect at all. All right, I think that's it for this song. Let's move on to Facebook Story, another kind of interlude. I've definitely been sleeping on Pretty Sweet. It's so good, and the groovy little bass line in there too. I kind of noticed the bass line, but I never really paid that much attention to it. Great bass line at the ending section there. Great. I've been sleeping on it. What can I say? All right, Facebook Story.
I say I'm in front of you. I don't need to accept you on Facebook.
Crazy.
In front of you, every day, here in your house.
It's insane.
Virtual thing.
All right, so obviously a nice little skit / interlude type thing. Once again with that nostalgic little do little melody backing it, and let's see. Facebook is a skate where real and digital life meet but cannot be distinguished. French producer. Okay, so this was... I always wondered who this guy was. Apparently he's a producer. Recalls how his relationship fell apart over accusations of infidelity over Facebook. So yeah, pretty solid skit. Is this the guy right here? I guess it is. There you go. There's the man behind Facebook Story. He's previously flirted with the philosophical concept of hyper-reality. Yeah. Spoke about the use of depressing footage as visual in his live sets in a club setting where people could go to forget their troubles and enjoy themselves. People continue to dance even when confronted by reality. The song also samples Buddy Ross. Okay, so that's the sample that this... I think I knew that before, but I just couldn't remember what the sample was running around. It's been... I think it was on... Was it on Be Yourself? I don't know. It's on Futura Free. It's been on this. It was on another one as well. But yeah, just a crazy story, and really adds once again to the whole tone of this album. And yeah, usually skits aren't that interesting, but this one's pretty interesting because it's a crazy story. Not much else to say about that one though. Let's go on to Close to You, which is another track that I feel like I maybe haven't fully appreciated. It's another just super short one. Let's give it a spin though. Drum sounds so good.
Why am I preaching till it's quiet to this atheist?
So it's a cover of Stevie Wonder. Okay. So once again, I don't think that's one of my favorites on the album. It's still not one of my favorites. I mean, there's nothing I really hate about it. I just wish it was a little bit longer. But yeah, it's a nice vibe in general. The drums are super crispy. Love the drum sounds on this one. The vocal effect I thought was weird at first, but now I've listened to it so many times now that I actually really enjoyed the vocal effect on this one. And it says Close to You is a cover of Stevie Wonder's cover of Close to You by Bert whatever that is, and Hal David. This brief track follows the Facebook story told by whose ex-lover. Yeah. The irony is that Sebastian's vision for connecting with this part was precisely antithetical. How do you say that? Did I say that right? To the technological connection his partner sought. Okay, why are we talking about Facebook story? So yeah, I actually didn't know it was a cover. So that's interesting. My only complaint is that I wish it was a little bit longer, but that's just me being nitpicky at this point. So yeah, let's keep going. White Ferrari's up next.
On these rides,
The synths.
I didn't care.
Oh,
The plane
that little snare and that little electronic bit adds so much.
Mind over matter is magic. I do magic.
That line is so good. And then this is where the song just goes to another level with this outro.
I'm sure we're taller, another dimension.
The imagery on this last part too.
That's what they call it, and we're free to roam.
All right, there you go. White Ferrari. Incredible song. Incredible. The emotion on this one is freaking amazing. That little do, do, do. That just sticks in my head every time. On that last verse, the little piano chords. So good. And this, you dream of walls that hold us in prison, is just a skull, at least that's what they call it, and we're free to roam. The imagery in that? Okay, I'm going to actually read what this might be about. There's a lot of different ideas about what exactly Frank's alluding to when he mentions prison. On one hand, it might be addressing the insecurity of his partner. His significant other suffers from a great deal of doubt. Their relationships unable to move to another level as partner continues to think without complete faith, thus entrapping Frank. Bam. At the same time, Ocean is also turning prison into a physical reputation for our skulls. Obviously, heads physically contain the mind, where thoughts roam, and thus ideas are physiologically imprisoned by the skull. So once again, just the imagery with that is insane. In the following line, Frank mentions that freedom of movement, as if the prison of the skull does not exist. This concept is exactly what he's trying to convey to his lover. Yeah, skulls are just bones, and in reality, our thoughts are free to roam, regardless of the physical boundaries. They ought to let go and start thinking openly. Wow. So good. I feel like I could just read, like, what? Ocean plays on the word dimension used in the sense of something that can be measured, in this case height. He also refers to dimension in the spatial sense. He tells his lover that at another time, in another place, their love would be more substantial and concrete. Frank covers a similar theme in self-control. Okay, yeah, I never caught that before. In another place, their love would be more okay. I'm sure we're taller in another dimension. Okay, I see. Yeah. Vocal performance on this one is just outstanding. It's just like, I don't know what to say. I think that's everything. Did I miss anything? Yeah. Just a great song. Let's move on to Siegfried. Oh my gosh, we're moving on to probably my favorite song on the whole album, Siegfried. It might be my favorite Frank Ocean song of all time. It might be. Like, this song, I feel like this is a super underrated song. It's not one of the most played on the album, but the production behind this thing is stellar. Like, literally stellar. And I think Johnny Greenwood of Radiohead helped with production on this track, if I'm not mistaken, and like the string arrangements. So that might be why I love it so much, because obviously I love Radiohead as well. So let's go though. Siegfried.
The markings on your surface, your speckled face.
The freaking atmosphere this intro creates is insane.
Maybe I should move
Why?
and settle.
freaking good.
Idea from another man.
That line is so good. The guitar runs.
Maybe I'm a fool.
Oh, it's so just textured and detailed and
Maybe I should move.
okay, I gotta pause it for a second. I know it kind of kills the vibe, but that little like whistle / wind blowing sound effect, I don't know why, but every time I listen to this song, it just takes me to The Wizard of Oz for some reason. Is there a song in The Wizard of Oz that sounds like that? Because aesthetically, that's just the vibe it creates, and that's the place it takes me. But it's like the greatest sounding thing ever. The production, once again, on this freaking song is so detailed. The little guitar runs, the little synth lines, it's all just so perfect.
I'd rather live
Those are the strings. Johnny Greenwood. That's the greatest sounding thing ever. This,
It's just a fond farewell to a friend. Just a fond farewell to a friend. It's just a fond farewell. Speaking of Nirvana, it was there. A dream about a thought that could think of the dream of the thought that could think of dreaming and getting the glimmer of God. I do
that falsetto bit,
for anything.
oh, it's just like nonstop chills. Like, that's gotta be one of my favorite songs of all time. Honestly, I think everything about it is just, it's like the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Once again, I'm gonna stress it again. The string arrangements, the little guitar passages, everything just feels like it's just like gliding through space, and it's just so like ambient, and it's amazing. And the writing as well. The writing, I don't think you're meant to really understand it because a lot of it seems very, very abstract. Obviously, you have the Fond Farewell to a Friend, which is, I believe, a reference to an Elliott Smith song. And obviously, Elliott Smith is a huge influence for Frank. But some of these lines, like, I'd rather live outside, I'd rather live outside, I'd rather go to jail. I've tried hell. Like, the writing on this thing is just, like, I don't even have to know what it means. It's just, it's so good. It's so good. Let's read a little bit about it because I would like to understand a little bit more about it. So apparently this might be called a metaphysical breakup song based on the mention of a speckled face. The song might be about a male model, Willie Cartier. Okay. The hero, Siegfried of Norse mythology, is often depicted as a handsome man. Okay, so that's kind of that reference there. Narrative of the song is difficult to follow. Yes, it is, but seems to have a recognizable structure. Nonetheless, the song moves from his love life to his inner life and then back out to his love life. First verse, Frank begins by addressing a lover in a failed romance. Okay, yeah, Frank's reflections become increasingly more penetrating. They move from wondering about his life choices and then transition to thoughts about the nature of his own mind and God. Then the song then seems to move back into a consideration of lost love and ends with a direct declaration, I'd do anything for you. What the heck, bro? What the heck? This, yeah, I'm going to say it again. This might be Frank's best song. This actually might be his best song. Like, the lyrics are incredible, but just the sound of it is like the most satisfying thing I've ever heard. It's so satisfying. So satisfying. So it starts with him addressing the lover. Okay, I'm living overseas, been living in an idea. That's also another line I love. Been living in an idea from another man's mind, which, I mean, you don't really have to look into it that much. Kind of self-explanatory, I guess, maybe about how people's opinions can be influenced by other people's, like, super heavily. Obviously living an idea from another man's mind. I'd rather live outside, maybe I should move. Like, I still don't really understand a lot of this. It's very metaphorical and abstract and just, but I feel like that just adds to the greatness of this song. I don't think I need to understand it. I don't think it's meant to be understood. I think it's meant to just be there. and be a tool to just paint this picture even further, along with the absolutely incredible production. The production on this is, can I see production credits on this? Produced by Malay and Frank Ocean. I thought, okay, yeah, so string arrangement, Johnny Greenwood, I was right about that. The strings are by the London Contemporary Orchestra. Yeah, the string sections are absolutely beautiful. Interpolates a Fanfarelle by Elliott Smith, as I said. So, once again, might be Frank's best song. Might be it's one of my favorite songs of all time, honestly. All right, we're moving on to Godspeed. This video is going to be super long, so I got to keep going. Godspeed. Let's go. Back with the organ vibes like we had on Solo.
I will always love you how I do.
That like release is so good.
Always love you until the time we die.
Kidding me, bro? Like, just another 10, another perfect song. Like, love the church organ once again, and obviously the lyrical content just being about kind of moving forward and wishing this person the best, which I like. That's obviously a thing that not everybody does, but it's a thing that you would hopefully want to do at some point. Obviously, Frank describes him leaving a lover, but doing so in a respectful way. The title is an exclamation used to give good fortune to someone starting a journey, of course. The track features many religious overtones, including various references to the Bible sung over a church-style organ with extensive use of the plagal cadence. What is the plagal cadence? I mean, do I have to go here, or is it going to explain it? The plagal cadence, the subdominant triad, leads to the tonic. This cadence usually is an extension to an authentic cadence and is most characteristic and formulaic usage in the West is with the final amen. Okay, so this kind of chord structure here is used in the final amen at the end of a hymn in, obviously, a church. So I actually never knew that. That's kind of the chord structure, which is why it feels so churchy, along with it being an organ, of course. So yeah, the plagal cadence and the outro with Kim Burrell. I never knew who that was, but she kills it as well. Her vocals are beautiful. Godspeed shares its title with the screenplay Frank published in his Boys Don't Cry publication. I wrote a story in the middle. It's called Godspeed. It's basically a reimagined part of my boyhood. Boys do cry, but I do think I shed a tear for a good chunk of my teenage years. But I don't think I shed a tear with a lot of men and boys. It's surprisingly my favorite part of my life so far. Surprising to me because the current phase is what I was asking the cosmos for when I was a kid. Maybe that part had its rough stretches too, but in my rearview mirror, it's getting small enough to convince myself it was all good. And really, though, it's still all good. Whoa. Okay. That's just, wow. That just adds another layer to this song that I didn't think I needed, but it just makes it that much better. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. Production's amazing. Writing is amazing. Frank's vocals are amazing. We're going out of Futura Free, which is the 9-minute ender to this album. I used to think that this album kind of made it drag, or this track made the album kind of drag towards the end, but now I've come to really appreciate this ender for what it is. So let's go. It's just so, like, personal, and it just feels like such a fitting ending to such a personal album. And these chords feel very, like, retrospective, you know?
I'm just a guy, I'm not a god. Sometimes I feel like I'm a god, but I'm not a god.
That is a great line as well. Him addressing this, I'm just a guy, I'm not a god, because so many people look at Frank Ocean as some sort of god. And I feel like that, I mean, I don't know if he's seen those things before, he probably has. But I mean, that happens with lots of big artists that have a huge fan base, but yeah, I just like him addressing that there, and I just love the honesty in this song, and it feels like he's kind of just ranting, but I love that. And this as well, now making 400, they're paying me to play these songs, and it's therapy for him, so he should be paying us. Like, it's so humble, it's so introspective, and so just well thought out and intelligent, and I love it. I never noticed that. He's talking about, I feel like I'm God, but I'm not a God. If I was, I don't know which heaven would have me. This is the greatest. This is the best album ever. This is so good. And that connects back to, once again, the smoking weed, that not being in line with something you would do in order to go to heaven. And just the duality of that once again. And just, oh, the religious themes on this album as well are amazing. And once again, this line, I never really knew the point of this line. They're trying to find Tupac. Don't let him find Tupac. He evaded the press. He escaped the stress. This is all Frank wants to do with his life as well, because this dude is never in the media. He's like, you never see this dude. Don't let him find Tupac, bro. That's so good. That's so good. And I that's another thing I just love about Frank, is his ability to separate his music from his personal life and not have everything in his personal life in the media. And his, yeah, I just respect that so much. Oh,
I ain't on no schedule.
Bring it back down. Oh my God.
Tyler slept on my
The
sofa.
Tyler mentioned,
Niggas go
shout
back
out.
that far. Menage on my
Birthday. The drums. Okay, let's see. So, before we go into the outro, I've never looked at this. So, outro is Mikey Alfred, Ryan Bro, which is Frank Ocean's brother, who recently passed away, rest in peace. Sage Elliser, Evan Clark. Okay, so just a bunch of friends and his brother, of course. So I've listened to this like outro a little bit before, but I've never really been able to understand fully what they're saying. So this will be interesting to hear it with the lyrics here, or just the captions, I guess.
What's your name? Yo, hey, be quiet.
Chills, bro. I got chills again. Like, I could listen to this instrumental forever, bro. Sometimes I'm very musty. I've never noticed that. There you have it. Frank Ocean's Blonde. I feel like it would be hard for Frank and his mom to listen to this final track, and especially this skit part here, because obviously Frank's brother that is now passed away is in it, and I don't know, I don't even know these people, and I was kind of getting emotional, especially with this line right here. Yeah, just a great ending to this album. And yeah, this last track, I know people will probably skip this last track but I feel like it's really important, a really important closer to this album. It feels so like personal, and yeah, just personal, and I think that's what this whole album has been, and I think this adds to that, and it just serves as a great ender. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. They talked about, did they say Tyler or something? Were they mentioning Tyler the Creator? Maybe, I don't know. They probably were, honestly. So yeah, I don't think there's much else to say about this. This is just an amazing album, and I really wanted to do this video to take a deeper dive into it, to really appreciate it, because yeah, I've loved this album for a long time, and this honestly made me appreciate it even more. Like, it's a 10. It's a 10, bro. It's perfection. It's probably my favorite album of all time. And it's perfect, bro. It's perfect. The production on this album, the writing, the performances, it's not boring for 1 second for me personally. It's outstanding. It's incredible. It's perfection. It's a 10. It's creative. It's honest. It's personal. It's shocking at some points, it's dark at some points, it's heartbreaking at some points. It's everything. It's as complicated as life is, and I think that's what makes it so freaking amazing. So that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know if you want to see some more of these types of videos down below. I want to do one on In Rainbows. I really just want to do these videos for albums that I really like a lot, because I want to go deeper into them and maybe even like them more. And I feel like this definitely succeeded. I feel like I do appreciate this album even more now. And the aesthetic of this album, sonically, musically, I've yet to find an album that really is as satisfying as this one to me. If you guys know albums that sound really similar to this, I don't know if there will be, but if you know albums that sound like this, let me know down below, because I love this sound, and I haven't found an album that does this sound or even really has this sound. So if you guys know albums that have this sound, this aesthetic, this whole vibe, at least musically, let me know down below, because I love it. It's amazing. And yeah, I feel like, once again, I learned a lot in this video. I feel like I appreciate this album even more now. And once again, there's probably even more stuff that I'm missing, because this thing is so detailed and layered and textured, and just, yeah, it's so detailed, man. It's so detailed, and I feel like it's like I feel like it's perfection. I feel like every little piece is placed perfectly. But the cool thing is that every little piece feels like it's in the perfect spot, but it doesn't feel like overproduced or like this huge manufactured thing. It still ends up feeling very personal, which is a cool part about it as well. So there you go. That's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on this album down below, and let me know, once again, if you want to see more of these types of videos. I really enjoyed doing this. If you want to leave a like, you can. If you want to subscribe, you can. I don't really care. But that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Frank Ocean's Blonde. Spectacular. Flawless. I can't think of any more words to describe it. Bye.